everyone, I am Anshika and today I am going to discuss the concept of torts to intellectual property rights. So, what is intellectual property? Intellectual property means a property without a body which cannot be touched. Torts against intellectual property deals with ideas, expressions and intangible things that cannot physically be stolen in most cases. Torts against intellectual property are different from other intentional torts because they do not cause any physical harm to any property. Whereas most intentional torts against real and personal property will be prosecuted by criminal law as well as civil law. This type of tort is unique because it is not always subject to criminal prosecution. For example, stealing someone else's words and putting them into your paper for English class, you cannot possibly be criminally prosecuted for such actions. Stealing other people's ideas may be wrong. However, it will not commonly end up in prison. So, the incorporeal property or the intellectual property may be divided into four classes, namely, number 1, trademark, second, trade name, third, patent right, and fourth one is copyright. These are transferable property which could be transferred usually by assignation. Assignation is a mode of transferring ownership rights. So first of all, we will talk about trademark. So what is trademark? Any mark, name symbol, figure, letter or word which is originally adopted by a manufacturer to label certain product to differentiate it from the products of others. The use of mark is likely to lead the customer to buy products as it creates the impression that they are created by the original manufacturers. Originally, common law courts in England insisted in proof of fraud, but Court of Equity intervened by granting injunctions even in cases where intimation of trademark was made by ignorance, provided that such imitation would deceive or mislead the purchaser. This doctrine was also included in the common law after the enactment of the Judicature Act 1873, due to which the trade name or trademark or trade name or mark name is to be considered as the king's property. Trademark is being governed by the Trademarks Act 1990 in India. So where does the burden of proof lies? The burden of proof in cases of trademark lies on the plaintiff. The plaintiff must prove the following points in order to succeed in an action for the infringement of trademark. The defendant has used the mark similar to that of plaintiffs. Second, such similar mark lead the purchaser to buy the goods under the impression that they are made by the original manufacturer, and there is a reasonable probability that the purchaser may be deceived. So what are its defenses? There can be instances where one can use the trademark of another and that use will be classified as fair use. A trademark infringement defense is the legal cause brought by a defendant to prove they did not infringe on someone else, that is plaintiff's trademark. Basically, trademark infringement is the unauthorized use of a trademark or service mark on goods or services that compete or are related. Whether or not a claim is successful is transferred to the defendant and depends on whether his or her use was likely to cause confusion to the average consumer, thereby weakening the plaintiff's image. It's important to note that infringement doesn't need to be an exact replica or copy, just similar enough to confuse the average consumer. This is especially an issue when both marks share the same market and thereby can be seen as related. There are certain defenses for an action of infringement of a trademark as mentioned below. First one is denial of plaintiff's title to the trademark. If the plaintiff himself denies title to the trademark, then it would be a valid defense for an action against the infringement of trademark. Second, concurrent right of the defendant to use that mark. In most jurisdictions, trademark provides for a trademark for an honest and concurrent user to coexist with another similar mark. The defense of honest and concurrent user was conceived mainly through two cases. Firstly, the case of Dent versus Turpin, in which the court determined that two users of mark which had deprived from a common predecessor had a separate right to obtain an injunction against a third person using the mark. Secondly, in Southern versus Reynolds, the Dent case was relied on to come to a conclusion on very similar facts. Though it should be noted that neither of these two cases was related to dispute between concurrent users, the court in these two cases were not protecting the exclusive property rights but restraining a person from misrepresenting his goods as those of another. Second one is trade name. So, what is trade name? A trade name is the name of the manufacturer of goods or the name of some goods by which the manufacturer is popularly known. If one person selling goods on his own in such a way that it is leading the consumer to believe that they are buying someone else's good, then it is the wrong of the trade name. No one has a right to represent someone's goods in his own name. It may be an original name or an assumed name under which the particular company is operating its business in the public. So where does the burden of proof lies? The burden of proof in these cases of trade name lies with the plaintiff. To maintain the cause of action for the infringement of trademark, the plaintiff must have to prove that the plaintiff had obtained a right to do its business under a certain name after the adoption of the business, and the defendant is using the name which is deceptively similar to that used by the plaintiff. Third one is patent right. Patent right is a privilege granted by the states to the first inventor of a new manufacture or invention that he and his licensees have the sole right of making and vending such manufacture or invention. This branch of law has been codified, and the rights of a person who is responsible for a new invention are protected by the Patents and Design Act both in English and Indian law. The patentee may use his rights himself or assign them or grant licenses. A licensee cannot sue for the infringement of patent rights. So the last one is copyright. Copyright is the exclusive liberty of printing or otherwise multiplying copies of any literary, dramatic, musical and artistic work. This right exists under Copyrights Act. So I think this topic is clear to you. In case of any doubt, do write in the comment section. Thank you.